Welcome teacher, I'm Luis Cordillo and this is the final presentation of Uncertainty Analysis 1. Well, the objective of this presentation is carry out the analysis of data about the new coronavirus in Mexico throughout the organization, presentation, and interpretation of the results to know in a more precise way the situation of the pandemic in our country. Okay? To continue, as introduction, in the portal of Secretary of Health of Government of Mexico, we can find a database with information related to the new coronavirus in Mexico, from which I took 1,000 of data at random, where based on this data, graphs will be made with the help of Minitab. Minitab is a basic statistics software to be able to interpret the results more easily to apply the knowledge that we argued during the course. Well, the first analysis is based on sex. It can be seen that there is not much difference between one and the other. We have 548 women and 452 men. It represents the 45 and 54% for variable, which makes us suppose that in case of taking more results, the results could be similar. The next one is based on the residence entity. Here we have two variables, is all the states that Mexico have, is 32 variables. As suspect, Mexico City is concentrated a large number of that with 255. This may be due to the number of people living in this place. As special cases, the state of Guanajuato with 91 cases, followed by the state of Mexico and Nuevo León with 75 cases for each state. And the other hand, the state with the fewest cases is Baja California and Tlaxcala with 2 cases each. So the next analysis is based on laboratory results. Here we have 2 charts. The first one is a traditional chart with bars, and the second one is a pie chart. Okay. Here we have 4 variables. The first one is the color blue, that is positive, with 32 cases. The second one is negative, the red one, with 141 cases. The third one is the color green, that is inadequate result, with 9. And the most frequently is the color yellow, that is not applied. Okay? Based on this graph, it shows that people who are no longer tested are the most frequently found within the same. Okay? This makes a signal to the hospital no longer use the test to determine if somebody has COVID. Okay? While the people who were tested, near a fifth of those who test negative are positive. And within the sample are one more variable, that is inadequate result, maybe because the results are inconclusive, or maybe because it's positive to some other periods. Okay? Undoubtedly in Mexico, in middle of 2022, COVID tests are not indispensable to compare as a first of the pandemic. Okay? Well, the next one analysis is based on in diabetes. Diabetes is a strong problem in Mexico, we know that, and can be reflected here. Okay? Of the 1,000 data taken, 7.8% have diabetes. Okay? And for most do not present this disease, but less quantity was expected. Only 4 of 1,000 data who couldn't be determined or didn't apply. Okay? So the next analysis will be based on age. Here we have the table number 1.1, where we can find a lot of data, for example, the mean, the minimum, the maximum, the quartiles, and the mode. And when analyzing the result based on each variable, we can say the next things. The minimum age and the maximum is 0 years old, and the maximum is 120 years. The average on this variable is one of 30 years old, which suggests that the sample is young, pulling to adulthood. Okay? The above idea is reinforced with the figuring of median and mode that is 35 and 20 years old, respectively. The rest of the data, such as the standard deviation or sweetness and kurtosis, can be analyzed in the following graphs. The following graph is this one. Here we have two graphs. The first one is a histogram of age, and the second one is a box plot. In the first one, we can see that the average and the mode match the large parts, and it's these ones, both of them. Similarly, with the help of the red curve, the value of the sweetness and kurtosis is represented. The red curve is this one, okay? While in the chart 1.5, the localization of the quartiles is in the yellow box. The first quartile is here, the second one is in the middle, and the third one is in the top. And for extra information, the box color pink for me is around of all the data that we can research, okay? And finally, the graph allows you to locate where the most of the data is concentrated. Approximately 80% of data are between of 0 and 50 years old. Is here. How can I see? And so the data with age over 50 years represent only the 20%. So the idea that was previously raised that all the sample is young, that the sample is not very large in terms of age, is still affirmed. The last analysis that we will do is analysis based on age and diabetes. Now we have table number 1.2. Now the previous table is based on analysis between two variables were chosen, obtain the following results. Okay, as you can see, we can see are three options to study when you have diabetes, when not, and when it is not determined. At second point, it's clear that for each decision, the data change. For example, the average of age that people who have diabetes is 58, with those who are not much younger is 35 years. Data that makes sense with the standards outside the sample of 1,000 people. Okay. The next slide is all the graph that we can get with all the previous data. Here we have the histogram. It's a little bit, but it's not too important. Just that is to represent. Okay, here we have the block plot 2, and to see the information in table 1.2 in a more graphical and simple way. And Also, in my opinion, it is more than sufficient with the data in the table for a solid argument, and similarly in the chart 1.8. We know we don't need all of these things. With the table, with the previous table is sufficient. And to finish, the conclusion of all of this data is the COVID-19 cases in Mexico during 2022 have decreased considerably. Also, we should no longer overwarn because we need to be sure until these diseases disappear. Okay? Not all places include a coronavirus test as part of the methodology to treat this disease. It is reflected in graph 1.2. This can be caused by the place where they perform the treat public or private hospital, or by the severity in the matter. Okay, the range of numbers of the samples of entity, age, and cases with diabetes are within the expected standard, and we need to pay attention to the red light, in my opinion, of diabetes. We will undoubtedly expect a lower percentage of people with this disease. And the last one, with all of the tools like the one offered by Minitab and other software, it is possible to research conclusions to make a change or corrections. Well, that's all my presentation of today. I hope that was really good, and see you.